My favorite topic.
So I'm going to start by welcoming you all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Probably you're surprised that we are having such welcoming. And why I'm saying good morning, it's because, well, at my place it's just perfectly noon, but probably we are having people with different, we have participants from Australia, Middle East, Mexico, Brazil, Lativa. So we try to be as inclusive as possible. So on behalf of CPEX Global, I'm Anastasia, and I would like to welcome you all to ISO 12647, heading for printing process, conformance, and standardization. You might all know that in Germany, there are 250 printers that are ISO certified. So this is important to be ISO 12647 if you are associated with the printing business, either flexographic, offset, or rotogravure. So in this session, we have an amazing trainer, Dr. Abhay Sharma. Hello, welcome.
Good morning.
Who has an amazing professional experience in color management and that particular ISO implementation. In this session, he will provide you insightful learning for various parts of that, requirements, implementation criteria, etc. Give back voice to Dr. Abhay Sharma, that is going to do the great presentation for us today. I will remind you about the break in 1 hour or so, so everyone can feel comfortable and have their needs met.
Is ICC, and if you want a full story, please buy my book, available at amazon.com. So no advertisements here, but the whole of the standards are based on ICC. The whole of the color management, and it is actually a standard. It was a specification, but it is a standard 15076. Nobody really refers to ISO 15076. Everybody just talks about ICC. So everybody is already using ICC. You can't do any system on the Mac or the PC, especially on the Mac. You can't turn it off. It is right there. Everything is ICC. We are already using all of this. I don't need to explain it because we are using it. So all standards rely on the ICC, especially the PDF standard uses ICC profiles. Everybody is using it to study how it works. Really is a whole subject on itself, but the making the profiles, people have done and can do, but they really are available. They're available in all of your systems. And here's actually my product that I've worked on, Color Kit Profile Maker, came from Hertfordshire in the UK. So that was Fujifilm's color management software. Not many people are making these themselves today. You can, and you can get a consultant to do that for you if you've got some special material. But here in everybody's system, there already are, in every single system, even if GMG, CGS, all Photoshop, everything already has these. And here in my Mac, you can see that the system has these, and these are built in. If you try and delete them, go ahead, you try and delete them, drag them to the trash, they will just be recreated. So every dialog on the Mac has to run with a profile. Everything in Photoshop, whether Mac or PC, has to have an ICC profile. RGB profiles for RGB images, CMYK for CMYK. This is all there. You don't need to worry about it. And in fact, you can't turn it off. So it's useful for us to know what the profiles are. But the whole world works very well today with this. It is a big problem for a lot of people, which is why I'm selling many books, but the system is there. It's moving to a new system of ICC version 4, but with ICC Max, but basically this system is there, it's working, and really you should make note of the profiles. It's very confusing for digital photographers about which one they should use, but it is there, it is established, and it works well. Anybody have problems with color and ICC profiles? Orientation. And so here in really a flexo form based from the FTA, we have actually have it here, quite a nice kit from the FTA is printing on a packet. That strawberry on a label is and this graphics. And so this graphics, what we see here is upside down, the bottom one, and then we have dark on light and light on dark. And so we may do measurements of spectral data for spot colors, both on light and dark background, but also we look at the smallest size of the font that we can resolve. Yes, so I'm really trying to promote CMYK OGV, but really the standards, certainly the Flexo standard up to now is CMYK. But who was I speaking to? Rana at the start said, yes, with CMYK OGV, you just don't have to do all the different spot colors and loading them. So totally off topic because the standards haven't caught up with CMYK OGV, but really that's gonna save us a lot of time and energy. So please keep that in mind. But for the CMYK that we're talking about at the moment is the screen angles. And I just want to make sure that we understand what that, okay, I'll talk about, yeah. So on screen angles, I want to show you the screen angles from my newspaper in a moment, but we do need to worry about the screen angle and the screen dot on all of our printing systems. And with Flexo, we have HD Flexo, high definition. We have oxygen and nitrogen in these laser printing of the Flexo plate. So really that is quite relevant. So here's the newspaper on the weekend. And of course it had images from Ukraine. I have a USB microscope here. And if we look at, bear with me while I turn this on. And share my PowerPoint. And are we seeing the camera, Anastasia?
Your camera is visible, but not your screen from the from your device. You should probably change it to the screen of the device instead of.
No, I want to share at the same time.
Oh, that's probably not possible.
No? Oh.
No, I'm sorry.
All right. Then look at this picture, folks. There's the Olympic picture on the left. And, oh, I'm not
No, you're not sharing it yet.
All right. All right. So you're going to have to remember this Olympic picture on the left. And I'm going to look at this Canadian logo. And then the Ukraine picture, we have this red nose and these eyelashes here. So in my camera, here's the Olympic jacket, and we can see that the maple leaf, and here we see those the dots. And so we're building with the screen. From a distance, we just see the red. From a distance, we don't see any of this. And if we go to that child's picture that had a red nose, so we can merge these dot patterns. From a distance, we see this rosette. We don't see this rosette, but here in close up, we see this rosette. That little toy had some eyelashes, and so here are those eyelashes. So a large amount of ink from a distance creates the shadows. A low level creates highlights, and this pattern that we see, I don't know if you can see this rosette pattern, is what we're talking about. So very typical is this rosette pattern. And then of course there's moire or interference pattern. So none of this is visible from a distance, but really we would look at this, and this is really how our CMYK printing works. And so that's what we would. So here's what I was looking at under that. And so all of our printing, flexo, gravure, offset, all will use that halftone screen. And those are the fundamental things that we have to worry about in terms of the dots and the screen movements. And a lot of this is specified, and we'll see that in our in the standards that we look at. Something that I know everybody on this call will need to do is do a proof. And so a proof is showing the customer what they would like, what they're going to get. And really what is important here is that the final magazine that is printed offset or gravure, the final cover, these are printed with different printing processes. So this is a proof. This is a proof with an inkjet, and this is a offset or gravure, high volume, many copies printed in a very different printing process. And so a proof must simulate the printing process. And one of the ways to do this is, of course, find out how is it going to be printed and then create the proof appropriately. The other way is to print both of them to a standard. So I'll just say that again. One way to show the customer what they're going to get is to find out how is it going to be printed and then try and make the proof to match. Or a better way is just to print both of them to the standard. And so when this is printed, wherever it's printed, you just print this to the printing standard. And then as long as you tell the proof provider what standard that is, what number it is, what section, what category of Delta EAB, then you can just make this proof, and you can make the proof independent of the printing process. One may be done anywhere in the world. The other can be done anywhere in the world. You don't need to know about each other's. You just need to know which standard you're printing to, and then these can be both made. And this can be software. So this proof can be software. And so you can see how easily the editors, the customers can look at it. The proof can be software and not necessarily a hard copy. And that's the way that many in the West want to work. They don't want to wait for this. They want to do it. And this is the way that we would like to work. So this, whatever area we are working in, everybody needs to do this or think about this. Is anybody making? Is anybody, Gulf Cartons, are you making these proofs on an Epson or other proofer? This is a pretty important point. So let's just ask, is anybody making proofs, and how do you do it? Thanks, Gulf Carton. I just come back to you. We used to, for gravure, actually load the cylinder and make a proof from the cylinder. There's a special proofing press, and we'd do it on there. But that's crazy. On a digital press, both the press, the proof and production are on the same machine. But a lot of the time, most of the time, we have this where we're trying to make a proof separately. So Gulf Carton says yes, they do make a proof. Sandis said sure. And so, you know, you can't make a beautiful pictures on a proof. You can't do, you know, amazing pictures on a proof, because you may not be able to hit those on press. So the proof really is a simulation of what we should see on press. And therefore, we're not just going to send beautiful pictures to an inkjet proofer, because it needs to be dumbed down. And so Sandis is exactly right. 2 GMG color proof systems and 5 Epson printers, exactly right. And GMG does this, it matches up the LAB values, and it confirms to the standard that it's printing to. And so we don't necessarily need to know how the printing process, we just proof to a standard and print to a standard. So I'd like to, yeah, Anastasia, you can mute the background, but I'd like to chat this message.
I don't see anything to mute right now.
Okay, so maybe somebody self-mute.
Maybe
Proof to a standard,
it was only for a second.
Yeah. So I just in a chat message that what we would like to do is proof to a standard and print to a standard. And either you buy a third-party product like GMG, CGS, or you can even do it yourself. But this is how we do it. So we don't worry about how exactly it's going to be printed, when and where. We just proof to a standard and print to a standard, and use Epson, hard copy, or PDF on screen as soft copy. Right. So if there's some takeaway, folks, from your attendance, is that at least proofing, we can get the customer to be happy with. We can achieve that on press if we think of this concept of proofing to a standard and printing to a standard. Okay. Anastasia, is this a good time to?
Yes, I wanted to actually propose the same thing, because I can see that we kind of stopped some part, and it would be great moment for a break, actually. So let's do ourselves the 15 minutes. So 40 past your time zone. And let's get back soon. Okay?
Great. Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
So see you later, everyone. Make yourself all your needs met, and grab some new coffee, some new tea, some new something to drink, and let's get back in 15.